Our newest design just hit the Planet CHH Teespring store. Our new Ghoulies 3 inspired Stay in School merch is now available in crew necks, short sleeve, and long sleeve. Now available, link in the description.
Alright, ladies and germs, I've been super busy, so please excuse me. I'm trying to get this video out to you guys on Monday, which is right now when I'm filming this. And I've actually recorded this with a headset on that had a mic, and it sounded like crap. Right now I'm pointing to my Scream Factory titles, letting you know I've been reorganizing all my Blu-rays, and I'm going to do that to you soon and show you all my Scream Factories. But today, let's do Arrow, because I have a decent number of Arrow titles, as you can see. Let's look at my collection of those, and then we'll do Scream Factory, which you're gonna need to have a seat, get a drink, and a snack, because as you can see, it looks like it's like well over 100 titles. So we'll be looking at those another day, and it's gonna be crazy. So excuse me if my hands are moving and it doesn't jive with what I'm saying, because I am ADRing this. So here, guys, let's start with my Arrow collection. First up, we've got Flash Gordon. Yeah. Good movie. Grew up watching this. Was so happy when Arrow put it out, and I ordered this from Target of all places. You know, Target's actually really fast with their shipping, believe it or not, which is pretty cool. So, big fan of that movie. And next we've got Candyman. This is the Arrow 4K edition, which I love. Big Candyman fan. Really just outshines that Scream Factory release. This is so much cooler. They did a great job in the artwork, too. I love that artwork for Candyman. Thank you, Kyle, who sent me that. God bless. Look at me fumbling. Next, we've got Beyond the Door, an Exorcist movie ripoff that's not as good as The Exorcist, but it's not bad. The grossest thing in the world is in this movie. It's a kid with a straw and a Campbell soup can drinking just straight out of it in the heat of the back of a convertible car, and it makes me gag every time I watch it. Like, legit, I get sick thinking about it. It's just disgusting. The Hills Have Eyes. This is the Blu-ray, and I never upgraded this. Sometimes I just figure the 4K restoration Blu-rays are just like good enough, you know what I mean? But I love this film. Classic Wes Craven, the maestro of Mad Men, if you will. Hills Have Eyes, and obviously Last House on the Left. Okay, next up is one of my favorites. This is the House American 2 Stories Collector's Edition release, which came out back in 2016, maybe. It's got the nice book and first 2 movies. Yeah, that's one of my first Arrows I ever bought. I believe it was this that I actually created an Amazon account to pre-order it. I hadn't been using Amazon before then. I was always going to FYE to get my movies because they were always really good at stocking them. But I've got House 2 Stories, one of my favorite releases. And you're probably saying to yourself, why do you have the one after that? What am I doing? Oh, I'm showing you my Big Ben right now. Okay. Like I said, this is ADR, folks. So check this out. This is the the collection. Now, this is the UK version. And it's got 1, 2, 3, and 4, as you can see. And the reason I got this, if memory serves, is because I wanted to own House 3, which is also known as the horror show. And I saw that at the time on Amazon UK, it was literally the same price as just the horror show Blu-ray. So why not grab this so I could have House 4 as well? Which it does. So yeah, that was like $20 on Amazon UK. It may still be that price. You ought to check it on Amazon.com/Amazon.uk, I believe. The House 4 Stories collection. But there's an even bigger version of that had the big, nice book, too, that my buddy Phil has. Go check out that video. But this one's cool because I wanted to own House 3, and why not? And it's region-free, too, by the way. If you buy that set, they're region-free. There's rumors that if you buy them individually, they're not. But I know for a fact that this set, if you buy it in the box, they'll play in Region 8 players. So, how about that? Creepshow 2 Collector's Edition. Hard not to love this set. It's amazing. 2K scan? Yeah. Great movie. Next up, we've got... I must be adjusting right now. There we go. Next up, we've got American Werewolf in London. Classic film. Excuse me. Yeah, classic film. This is the Blu-ray. I never updated this to 4K. I can't do it for everything, you know. I gotta be specific about some titles. Like, I bought The Howling because that's my favorite werewolf film, so I did upgrade that to 4K. But American, I didn't. Maybe one day. It's an amazing film. I'm not taking anything away from it. I almost dropped that. Reanimator Collector's Edition. I remember getting this, and then it seeming like it was just out of print like a day later. I know this is pretty sought after, but I think they're gonna do a 4K of this soon. It might have already got announced, and who knows what kind of set they'll release that in. But RoboCop 4K scan Blu-ray, one of the greatest films ever. It's in my top 10 films of all time. I know that for a fact. Never upgraded that to 4K though either. Maybe one day though, because I'm such a diehard. Maybe I'll get the steelbook of it. But I love RoboCop. It's one of my favorite films of all time. You can't beat it. Next up, we've got The Hills Have Eyes Part Dos. Famous for having a dog flashback scene. This movie's okay. It's you know, it's nothing to write home about, but it's got a little bit of value to it. I'm not a hater of it. Next up, Waterworld. I miss the era of the big box office flops where they just took risks and promoted films that were a little, you know, off kilter. That's a great release though. It's got like 4 cuts of the movie. One of my prized possessions is my Beyond Reanimator Collector's Edition set. This is a old school Arrow release. This is from like 2015, maybe 16, but yeah, that one is awesome. Huge fan of Bride of Reanimator, and that set is amazing. That's actually my favorite Reanimator film. Is Bride. I just think it's the best, really. Next up, we've got the Tremors Collector's Edition. This is the Blu-ray version, not the 4K. I mean, I bought a region-free Blu-ray player, and I figured why not save a few bucks here and there instead of getting 4Ks for every movie and just get the Collector's Edition Blu-rays. That way I can get the nice set and save a few bucks and get the Blu-ray version. I did the same thing for True Romance. This is the Region B Blu-ray version as opposed to getting the 4K version. So yeah, great movie. Wow, I actually saw that movie for the first time with this set, and it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. True Romance is out of this world good. I absolutely love it. Are you kidding me? Next up, we've got Donnie Darko 4K. I don't know what I'm saying right there. Again, this is ADR, folks. Donnie Darko 4K. I bought that at Best Buy on sale, believe it or not. That was not a title I was planning on upgrading. But when I got that for like $22, I was like, oh, hell yeah. It's one of my wife's favorites. Yeah, great movie. Next up, we've got Phantom of the Mall. I know a lot of people were really happy when this got released, and I can totally see why. First off, the Justin Osborne art is out of this world. It's a fun movie. It's a really fun movie. It's a good flick. Good flick. I like it a lot. And then we've got Phenomena 4K box set from Arrow. Synapse put this out, but my buddy Kyle sent me this as another gift, and it's amazing. And I'm kind of glad he got me the Arrow one. I think it's gorgeous, so I'm really happy with that. They do a good job with their big box releases, so the big box Arrow releases are great. Next up, we've got Chud, Cannibalistic Humanoids, Underground Dwellers. John Goodman's in that. Vamp, one of the most underrated vampire movies of all time. Without question. It's got Grace Jones and Robert Russell in it. Please get that if you haven't seen it. Like pause the video now and go get it. It's that good. Next up, we've got Slugs. An awesome late 80s horror flick. Awesome. We got Nightbreed right here from Arrow Video. I now have a really nice collection from Scream Factory. Thanks again, Kyle. Toys Are Not for Children. Not a bad movie, quite frankly. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein 4K. This is the 1994 Robert De Niro version. Good 4K. Up here we have Dead End Drive-In, which I like. Fun little movie. Yeah, Dead End Drive-In. Next up we've got Videodrome, an absolute classic. This is a UK Blu-ray. Legend, Tom Cruise. Got that for my wife. Awesome movie. The Wind. Decent little slasher flick. I liked it. I like The Wind. Hellraiser. Don't worry, I show off my Scarlet box set at the very end. The Mutilator, awesome slasher flick. Must known for Arrow release is The Mutilator, without question. Evil Ed, the most underrated film from the 90s in my estimation. It's so funny and gory and fun. If you don't have this movie, literally pause the video now and go get Evil Ed. It's insane. Mark of the Devil, late 60s flick, I believe. Not bad. Gotta have a taste for that kind of stuff, though. Bloody Birthday, classic. This is a must-own for Arrow fans, in my estimation. Killer Tomatoes, the only time I ever got the dreaded blue case, but I kind of like it. Yeah. Let's see what's next. Microwave Massacre, absolute masterpiece. If you don't own this, you need it. It's so good. It's hysterical. Microwave Massacre. Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Osborne. I have no idea why I bought this. Never watched it. Probably never will. Dark Water is fantastic. It's kind of like The Ring, Japanese film. I believe it's Japanese. So good. So good. Very creepy. We got Society, Brian Usna, absolute masterpiece. Possibly his best film. So good. Brian Usna, Return of the Living Dead 3, Bride of Reanimator. Brian Usna is the man. Awesome producer. I want to interview him one day. Necromantic, can't really recommend these movies because they're really, really brutal. Necromantic 2, take them with a grain of salt. Decide, look into them if you want to get them. Yeah, Doom Asylum, really awesome, kind of nightmare-inspired 80s slasher film. Really fun. Definitely pick that up. The Slayer, a really moody slasher film. It doesn't move like a freight train, but I'm a big fan of it. The Black Cat, probably one of the most underrated Lucio Fulci films. I'm a big fan of The Black Cat. Next up, we've got Trapped Alive. Pretty good movie. Now, here's a fun fact. So, when I bought this used off Amazon, the case was damaged, so I got it really cheap. But I went to the used video game store, and as you can see, I bought like a $5 PlayStation 3 game, literally just to have the case, because PlayStation 3 cases are the same as Arrow cases, so that's why it's in a PlayStation 3 case. But if you're in a pinch and your case gets damaged, get a really cheap PlayStation 3 game, and it's exactly the same for the case. Edge of the Axe. So Edge of the Axe was like one of the most hyped slasher films from Arrow when it got announced, and I thought it was going to underdeliver. I personally thought that Edge of the Axe is a fantastic film. I forget the gentleman's name who's the director. Spanish man, I believe he's really good. He also did Deadly Manor, which is good too. But Edge of the Axe is all that and a bag of chips. I like both of those movies, so Deadly Manor is really good. Wolf Guy is absolutely insane. Just look up the trailer before buying that. You may not like it. The Initiation, a decent little slasher flick. I think it's pretty good. Definitely check it out. The Crazies, big fan of The Crazies. George Romero. There's the Blu-ray for Donnie Darko. Yeah, love that movie. Next up, we've got Rawhead Rex. Love Rawhead Rex. One of my favorites. That's a UK release. One of the best movies ever, The Stuff. I prefer this over The Blob even. I think it's so good. Probably Larry Cohen's best. Maybe it's God Told Me To, though. Crimson Peak. Guillermo del Toro. I love this movie. Love Crimson Peak. Next up, we've got Hell High. I should have reviewed that. I enjoyed Hell High. But yeah, good movie. Basket Case shows the real early 80s seedy New York, which I love. Love Belial. Children of the Corn, Arrow Video. That's the 2K scan Blu-ray, which I'm a fan of. And up there, I've actually got the Children of the Corn Region B trilogy of 1, 2, and 3. I love Children of the Corn 2 and 3. Alice, Sweet Alice. Big fan of Alice, Sweet Alice, for sure. The Prey. I actually found this movie really boring. I don't recommend it. Next up, we've got Killer Clowns from Outer Space. This is the FYE exclusive slipcover. One of my favorite films ever. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is awesome. The Cruising, or just Cruising, excuse me. I believe it's Pacino's best movie. I really do. It's so good with, it's Pacino's best movie and William Friedkin's best movie. I'm such a fan of Cruising. I made my mom watch this, and she was even like, that's probably one of the most intense movies I've ever seen. I think it's Friedkin's best, quite frankly. Contamination, I'm not a big fan of it. I think it's kind of cheap and crappy. Blood Rage, everybody's favorite Thanksgiving movie. I love Blood Rage, and you should too. The Last Starfighter, this is the Nick Castle film from the 80s. I like Last Starfighter. I think it's really good. I like the premise. It's fun. It's fun to revisit that one. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, really fun horror comedy. I eat that movie up. Great cast. Brain Damage, we just talked about that on the top 10 Blu-rays I want you to own. Reboot. Good movie. Southland Tales, which I believe is like the follow-up to Donnie Darko from that director, Richard Kelly. Yeah. I have to rewatch it again to give you an opinion on it, which I think most people probably were like that too. Gamera, the Heisei era. These are like the 90s Gamera films. I love those movies so much. 12 Monkeys 4K. I've seen this movie, but I haven't opened up my 4K yet. I need to. Love that. Bruce Willis is awesome in that movie. Beyond Reanimator, the third Reanimator film, which is so funny. It's got that real good 2000s vibe. I'm a big fan of that. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. Next up, we've got Dream Demon, a UK-based film, kind of like a Elm Street style inspired movie too. Definitely give that a shot if you haven't seen it. I did a review on that if you want to look it up. Girls Night Out, a good movie, a movie that I probably wanted to like a little bit more, but in today's era with everything already being released and finding more, slashers that haven't come out yet, it's nothing to complain about. Last House on the Left, Steelbook, pretty cool Steelbook. Next up, we've got Cat O' Nine Tails, one of my least favorite Dario Argento films. Scared Stiff, a.k.a. Bored Stiff, absolutely terrible film, avoided at all costs. Nothing happens. Deep Red, Dario Argento classic, never upgraded that one either. I think Blu-ray's fine for that. And Silent Running, big fan of Silent Running. This just got released and then they announced the 4K this year. It's crazy. No gap between those. So I believe, I know for a fact because I'm ADRing this, that I'm going to show you my Hellraiser set. But that's my Arrow collection. I guess it's a lot. I feel like I had more, but I mean, that took a while for me to get through. I guess when you compare it to Scream Factory, it's not a lot because God knows I've got a ton of those. But yeah, we talked about the Children of the Corn set. And there's the Scarlet box set, one of my prized possessions. I'm such a big fan of that box set. It's possibly my favorite box set I own. It's so nice. And I guess I'm just doing some ASMR right there, tapping it. But I guess I'm going through my Blu-rays and I'm reorganizing them. So bear with me. I've been super busy, but I really wanted to crank this video out. And we're going to do Scream Factory next if you guys are down. It's just going to take a while. As you can see, there is a ton of them. And I'm going through organizing the Blue Undergrounds. As you can see, that was what's to the right of the Arrow titles and things like that. Just trying to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to the eye. So, like, if I do videos where the background is my shelves, I figured, why not make a little bit of this and that happen, make it look nicer. So we're doing that. I want to say thanks to all my amazing Patreon supporters who make Planet CHH possible. For behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and more, you can subscribe for as little as $1 a month.